Welcome back to another episode of Nation News Touchline Report, brought to you by Quartz Ready Cash, ready when you are, and Bico Skinny Delight Dessert, where health meets happiness. I am your host, Nick Maitland, and joining me today for this special episode of Touchline Report is a new face, a good brother of ours, Mr. Kurtis Hinds. He is a member of A-Team Sports and a regular collaborator with us on radio and in print. And of course, Renaldo Pee-wee Gilkes, who's a coach, commentator, administrator, everything to do with the game of football. And today we will be discussing the Tridents tour to Dominican Republic, the second tour, and this time they will be playing Dominican Republic and Dominica in their World Cup qualifiers. Last Friday, unfortunately, the Tridents suffered a 1-1 draw. They were leading at half-time thanks to a 42nd minute goal by Niall Reid-Stephen. But unfortunately, in the second minute of stoppage time, we conceded an equalizer. It was heartbreak for all of us, but we still took a lot of positives from that game. So let me swing it over to my guests. And Kurtis, you go first. First of all, the people on our Instagram, on our YouTube, they know the voice, but they may not know the face. Tell them, how long have you been in this football space and how have you been enjoying it so far?
Well, thanks for having me first thing, Nick. We've been here for a while. 20 years, off and on, football, track and field, but lots of football. And it's been nice in terms of the World Cup qualifying campaign. A mixed bag for Barbados so far. As you would know, 1 win, 1 defeat, 1 draw. Speaking specifically though about the last 2 games, well, the last 2 legs, which is the Dominican Republic and Dominica. Friday night, a bit of a heartbreak for Barbados. And unfortunately, the killer goal, the equalizer, came much like the goal against Panama in the opening leg, after in the final 10 minutes or so, when the Barbados defense somewhat, you would say, switched off. It's become a slight issue, nothing huge in terms of the in-game ramifications, but that late goal again, a bit disappointing, but all in all, pretty happy with the Barbados performance thus far. But football is a game of absolutes. Yeah. Win, lose, draw. And unfortunately, 1 win, 1 defeat, 1 draw this far.
Pee-wee, you are very versed in these absolutes in football. How did you see that performance by the Tridents last Friday?
I believe that it was an improved performance based on what we saw in March. They had a lot more time to prepare this time, and it showed based on their confidence and the quality of play. I believe Dominican Republic, they didn't give as much as they thought they would in terms of quality. They only had the opportunity in the 30th minute when Pop produced that excellent save, which resulted in him being injured. And then we had the heroics of Liam Bradford, a player who I've always admired from youth football when he was at Pro Charles and Foundation. He came up big, and I believe that particular save inspired the rest of his teammates, because since then we've been taught not just to score, but we spent a great deal of time within the Dominican Republic half. As Kurtis mentioned, that heartbreak goal. We know we faced it against Panama in our first game, and I believe that it has some measure of concern. There may be it may be due to physical reasons, psychological reasons, but I believe we need to address it, because in international football, a result is always expected, and if you could protect a result such as a 1-0 one, because it's always like in international football, there are no real blowouts. I mean, unless you're watching this first round, you see a couple of tiny nils and turkey nils this particular leg. There are no real huge blowouts. It's that simple margin, those simple details. So I believe we need to address that. I'm sure Coach Lahapi will be addressing it, but kudos and credits to the boys. I was very impressed with the young guns. Andre Null himself, who is still young. Null is only 18. A lot of people don't know that. Thierry came on and had a huge impact. So it's good to see Coach Lahapi giving the young players an opportunity to show their worth.
Indeed, and we have a man on the spot, and a man is missing from here. He's on the spot in Dominican Republic by the name of Anmar Goodridge-Boyce. You may know him. He's been compiling reports for us over the last week or so, and this is his take on the first game and a bit of a preview to the second game on Tuesday against Dominica.
I thought the boys looked good in training. Hayden Holligan, as you know, he took the captain armband in the absence of Rashad Jules, and I thought he did very well in terms of getting the boys together and getting the boys in a very match-winning spirit. I actually thought the boys had what it took, to get the victory. Unfortunately, there was a 1-1 result at the Felix Sanchez Olympic Stadium. But I mean, the boys look very good and together in the training. I thought Kishmar Primus, he got injured in the game, but he looked good. Then Bradford, who was in for him, the substitute, he looked good as well. So I thought the boys were good in training, and just unfortunate that they didn't take all their chances to get the victory on Friday night.
And we will be definitely hoping for different against Dominica on Tuesday. What are the strategies coming into this game? What must the Traders do to make sure they return to Bridgetown with all 3 points?
Well, I think it's a case of taking the chances. We spoke about this, and we normally speak about it all the time. I think the strikers, the attackers, they must, when they get the chances, they must put the ball in the back of the net. Goals win games, Maitland, and I think that's probably the main approach and the main priority of the team right now. They have to put the ball in the back of the net. I think Barbados is good defensively. Was a bit shocked, that Carl Hinkson, didn't start at right back, but I can definitely see what the coach was trying to do. He said to me, that it is not a game. The game versus Dominican Republic is not one that, they were planning to do a lot of defending, and that's good. They're happy to play. They have that confidence, that they can have a lot of possession versus a team that's ranked higher than them. So, he told me the decision behind Carl Hinkson not starting is that Carl Hinkson is a player, he would put in when Barbados does not have a lot of the ball, So he started Rashad Smith, at that right back. And we know Smith is a very pacey player, he likes to run up and down the wing, and he can offer you very good on the attack as well.
Thank you for that detailed report, AGB, doing great work in the Dominican Republic as usual. When we return to Touchline Report, we will be previewing the Trident's second game on Tuesday against Dominica, and we will be hoping to bring home all 3 points.
I'm a digital subscriber to the Nation's website, so I will get news hot off the press. Oh, I see. I would like to subscribe digitally too. But you know I like to read my Nation newspaper, man. Dad, you got shoes. You can buy your newspaper and you can also subscribe.
Welcome back to Nation News Touchline Report, brought to you by Courts Ready Cash, ready when you are, and Bico Skinny Delight Dessert, where health meets happiness. And right now, we are going to preview the Trident's game on Tuesday against Dominica. And to preview this game, I think Kurtis and Pee Wee are going to give their analysis of the previous game mixed with some hopes for this second game. So based on this first game, the training sessions, Anmar reported that they were going well, the guys were looking good in training. But Kurtis, you mentioned that Dominica has some physically intimidating players. How do you train to play against guys like that are much bigger and stronger than you?
When we last played them, I believe it was about 4 years ago, the Dominican teams, particularly the midfield, big, strong, tall guys. I think our ace in the hole, so to speak, will be speed. No one likes to defend against speed. Right. The big guys tend to be a bit less coordinated. I don't want to say clumsy, but perhaps not as good in short spaces. Yeah. So I'm sure Coach Latipi will look to capitalize on that. The Barbados team is blessed with a number of skillful, fast players, young players who will go the distance. And I think it'll be more the same. Based on how we've played so far, I don't think there's anything glaringly wrong. We've had slight errors that have cost us points in games, but I think he'll be satisfied. He said he was very, very happy with the performance of the team thus far. In fact, he described one of the debuts as one of the best ones he's seen in his coaching career, and he's been coaching for a while and playing for a while as well. So I believe high-intensity training. The injury to goalkeeper Primus is a bit of a downer, but Liam Bradford came in and showed he's more than able to do the job, so I don't think you'll be sweating about that too much. My toss-up would be whether to start Thierry Gale. When we knew he was coming back into the island for the games, I figured he would start. Coach Latipi has obviously seen something that we have not seen. We're not there training with him. I'm not sure what it would be, but in terms of what would happen there. But in terms of the overall setup, though, I think, as you said, the training has gone well. Continue more of the same, and the focus should be speed. At this point in time, the chances of qualifying are gone. You want to win against Dominica. You want to win. I believe we could have drawn against Panama, but we got past Anguilla, even though we probably should have scored some more goals. And for all intents and purposes, we should have won on Friday, barring the late mistake. But I think the onus now is to go and beat Dominica, hopefully badly, and at the back of their minds as well, the Concacaf Gold Cup, which is going to kick off the qualifying campaign for us next month. So one eye on that as well, because we have a very, very young team. Lots of guys preparing to raise their hand to get into that squad as well. You have a few seniors who will be trying to come back in to the squad as well. Coach Ladapi has gone on record as saying he wants the headache of who to pick, right? So he has at least 2 seniors, as we know, who would like to get back into this team now, in Raheem Sargent and former skipper Rashad Jules.
Armando Lashley as well.
Armando Lashley as well, who's been the most prolific striker in the Premier League for the past 2 seasons. No one is going to want to give up their space. So at the back of their minds as well, we're not just looking at the Dominica game, which is the most pressing concern, but what happens for the Gold Cup. So all to play for Barbados, but a win, definitely a win.
So we're playing for pride. Not
and
really.
industry.
We want points, but we're playing for pride.
For pride as well, yeah. And
definitely.
I think too, as Coach Ladapi said, he said in his post-match briefing that he's not overly preoccupied with the rankings. He wants to see progression and development. I think on paper, he would agree that the team could have done better. He's not unhappy with how they've played, but he would know that they could have won. He said it himself, that the draw feels like a bit of a defeat because he knows they can do better. So I'm sure they'll want to beat Dominica. I think the Barbados team has more than anything showed that it does belong at this level. Panama went to the World Cup. We took them into the 82nd minute. Dominican Republic playing at home, very strong, could have beaten them as well. Anguilla, we got the result, only 1-0, but we got the result. So sign off against Dominica with a win, and it looks much different as opposed to signing off with a defeat or a draw. So I think the priority now will be, of course, defeat Dominica and exit on a high.
So we get 2 wins, a draw, and a defeat from 4 games. Not bad. 7 points.
Not bad.
Yeah.
And most importantly as well, all of these games would have been played away from home. No home games for Barbados in this campaign at all.
Very important to note.
Even without the crowds, home knowledge is key. We would have played at the artificial field where we know that inside out. We know the breeze, we know the wind patterns. We would have the turf conditions to our liking. A bit spicy so the ball kicks on how Coach Ladapi likes it. Also, the Barbados team tends to get, well, for lack of a better word, tired so far in the campaign in the last 15 minutes or so. Whether that is the muddy pitch, whereas we play on turf, I don't know. But if we're playing at home, I think we have less variables. So this is why also when we look at the overall results, I think I'm satisfied with the team's performance so far, but always hungry for a bit more from the trainings.
What I'm hungry for, Pee Wee, is goals. We haven't been as impactful on the score sheet. We had some chances on Friday. Thierry Gale, a player you know well, he came on in the second half, had 2 glorious chances, and I'm sure that we could have been 2-3-0 up. How do we take more chances against Dominica?
I know you really Thierry, because when you said you were hungry, right, for more goals, right? I know you really meant
I got it later. I got it later. Sorry, Barbados. I got it later. Sorry.
Don't worry. At least you get to the destination.
Right,
Different route. Yeah, the destination. But yeah.
How do we score more goals?
I'm so happy to hear Kurtis mention how to infiltrate the Dominican defense via using pace. I know the Dominican team pretty well. I know the coach very well, a personal friend of mine. Another Trinidadian like Mr. Lahapi, Rajesh Lachu, very organized, very diligent. And if you would have watched Dominica in their previous matches, they lost 1-0 to DR in their first game, went down 2-1 to Panama, and then they had a bit of goals against Anguilla in their 4-0. So it's not the traditional Dominica team of past where a number of those who would have seen us in the 80s, 90s, whatever, blanking Dominica. The gap is closing, Maitland, in terms of results, and especially in international football. All of the coaches have access to the same information and the same education. When you look at Dominica team, along with their brawn, they're very athletic as well. They get around the pitch quite well. They like to play aggressively, just like how DR played us in the opening half an hour the other day. You know, they were hitting us. They had our players on the ground a lot. We can expect more of that from Dominica. Offensively, they too have some speedsters, and we'll need to have we'll need to stop the service more so than preventing the result. So we'll need some industrious players within the midfield. Again, when you look at those who started within the midfield, I had no complaints whatsoever with the squad that was put out there. We know we had Nell Reid-Stevens in an untraditional midfield role, a deep line midfield role, but it showed because he had so much pace to drive into. With regards to your question, how do we score more goals? We need to isolate their fullbacks 1v1. We saw what Thierry did the other day when he came on. At one point, he even shot me. I didn't know he had gone that fast. He picked the ball just beyond the half line. Within 2 touches, he was in the opponent's post. The one where he fired over in their post, and then he had the breakaway where he left 3 guys in his wake. So if we can isolate those players in wide positions, we may even see Antoine Pookie Graves. He too has tremendous ability in 1v1 situations and speed to burn. We also have young Tajio James. I remember the post-match press conference, Coach Lahapi said he will also use this opportunity. He doesn't just want to win it, but he'll use this opportunity to give those young players an opportunity to get some international World Cup minutes, World Cup qualifying minutes, because he recognized what the future has, or what the future holds rather, for those said players. If they get the opportunity on this stage and perform, just like what Kurtis said about this being somewhat of a dress rehearsal or audition for the Gold Cup, I believe a lot of those players will be looking to impress. If you could utilize the pace of Tajio, Thierry, you have Antoine Graves as well. Simovic is no slouch. He's a bit more passive than some of the others that we expect, but he's no slouch. And maybe if given the license to take on, because I saw Coach Lahapi urging Thierry to do such in the last game. But if we could get the ball wide and isolate those defenders 1v1, they could go by them and have a shot or even get the ball in. In the last game we played against Dominica, one of our fastest players actually was the goal scorer. We lost 2-1 to Dominica, but Rashad Jules was his goal scorer then. And he scored, obviously, getting behind the defense, using his pace, and firing into the far corner. So when we look at Dominica, again, we shouldn't take them for granted. I know Lachu personally and his philosophy, and from what I've seen, they're very resilient, they're combative, aggressive, all the words that you could compel with war and battle. That is the Dominica team. And for some or the other, I don't know, Kurtis, if it's the fish or the ground provision that they feed them down there, but them fellas big. Even when I saw them in youth football.
It's water.
It's water. Even when I saw them in youth football Maitland, I was like, these boys can't be 15. Right? So
I didn't think you were 15.
Yeah, they probably thought I was 50, right? But it will be keen to see how we deal with the aggression. I think last game against DR that we handled it quite well, especially Millie Park. The referee was decent to us.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, the referee was decent to us. And we just need to match that. Who we put in the mid on the starting 11?
Yes.
Yeah.
Nice segue, PV. Starting 11s. You first, then Kurtis. Who do you want to start this game?
I would like to see Carl Hinkson being reintroduced at the right fullback. I feel a bit more secure with his presence there. Obviously, playing at a high level within the United States for so many years. I know him personally as well. Would have worked with him years gone by in the youth level. And he's always been a very intelligent player. The midfield we could retain, because I expect us to have. If we could have that confidence about having the amount of possession we did against DR, I feel we could subsequently have that amount of confidence against Dominica as well. Across the front. We could go back for the same front three. However, I'm soft on Gil. I'm sweet on Gil rather, because seeing what he did in those latter parts of the game. Yeah. Imagine us shocking Dominica with that. You know, like there's a regular Bajan player. You know, we let those Thierry. We could even use Antoine, but we keep Hallam centrally, basically because he's our tallest forward really, and our most. I would say strongly built forward, so we're keeping centrally to battle with those centre halves.
Kurtis, any changes from PV's team?
I think he's been peeping at my notes actually. I would start with name slip me.
Hinkson?
Striker. I would start with Gale, yeah.
Gale,
I would start with Gale. I think he would form a good partnership as well with Niall Reid-Stevens.
I think so.
I think they would have played some football together at the junior level as well. They play well. They would feed off each other's game. Hallam would play as well. Hallam Hope. I think at the back we need a bit more experience. It showed a bit later on, so perhaps someone can come in there. But I'm happy with what he saw in the midfield. I think the midfield has been one of the strengths for Barbados throughout the campaign. They've defended well. They've come forward when needed well. I think we need to be a bit more attacking especially in this Dominica game. Dominican Republic, we expected a bit more from them, and we could match them. So for the Dominican game, I think a bit more aggression, some pace, for sure, pace. And at this point, given that Primus, the injury was pretty significant, we're still awaiting the last word. When Coach Latipi spoke in the post-match briefing yesterday, he said it was still swollen, but the swelling had gone down a bit. But I think based on the performance of Brathwaite, I wouldn't risk Primus. I would go with Liam Brathwaite to start from the outside and pretty much keep the other nucleus of the team intact.
Okay, score prediction.
2-0 Barbados.
That sounds good. PV?
2-1 Barbados.
2-1. So both these guys going for victories. And even though we are slightly impressed with the game last Friday, we want to see you guys come out and do more of the same and finish off the job against Dominica. It's not going to be easy. As Pee Wee and Kurtis said, these guys may be a bit bigger than we are, but we know that our hearts are much bigger than theirs. So we will possibly, hopefully, come away with the 3 points and make Barbados 100% very proud. We are all backing you, and we hope that you go and do your best. Hi guys, it's Nick from Touchline Report, and we have a special gift for you. It's a gift basket in association with Dasani and Powerade. But we have some rules for you. You have to be a resident here in Barbados, and you have to present ID if you are the lucky winner when you come to collect from our offices here in Fontebelle. And you have to spell the name correctly in our comment section here on YouTube, the Nation Barbados. And the question is, who scored the Trident's match winner against Anguilla? Who scored the Trident's match winner against Anguilla? Good luck. From me, Nicholas Maitland, on behalf of Kurtis Hinds and Renaldo PV Gilkes, it's goodbye and be good. If you can't be good, be great. And if you can't be great, be grateful. See you soon and bring home all 3 points.